speaking meds, and it is a hard sort of truth to accept that some of the friendships or the connections that we have built over the years, when we are not in a healed, conscious state of awareness, is that we can be in relationships that, to not overuse the word codependent, but where we're around enablers, people who we're clearly trapped in a cycle with, where toxic consumption of any kind of like substance or food, oh my god, just the egret, behaviour is tolerated to the point that you're clearly like happy or not concerned to just watch. You clearly don't feel it's your place to hold accountability. Words just come out of meds. Kind of, the thoughts are there and the concepts are there, but I don't really know how to express it at the minute. Because there is we don't judge and we stand in our lane and we mind our business. But when you're in love with someone, when you love someone, when you hold them dear to your heart, and I guess this is part of the journey of parenthood that many people are experiencing, that children are not an extension of the parents. There is a separation where you have to realise that there's this a whole other complexity of cells and human design and desires and motivations that move that soul along, because they've incarnated here for a completely different reason to why the parents have been here. And if we so believe, we choose the parents to be our guardians, or we choose our parents. And I believe, spending time on our own does really support this relationship to self, and this level of grounding, and this level of inner knowing, and this level of learning how to not be dependent on anything, on a substance, on anything, all day, every day, on a person, or to take away the pain. Because grief and love are this eternal dance. There's a lot of memes, usually Mother Walton Rose online, that's like, the grief is never ending, but so is the love. Because beauty and pain are interlinked, interwoven, and when you feel very deeply and your heart chakra is activated to the point that joy is all around, beauty is all around, but also we can witness the pain and struggle. And the hardest thing is to pull ourselves away from souls that we see in never-ending cycles of physical realm satisfaction, and I don't know if that's coming across. So only satisfying themselves in a physical way because of lack of connection to soul, because the pain is too bad to bear, that obviously addiction arises. And I don't know if it's my left brain, right brain. Like, there's something in me that someone asked me the other day, do you think that you have an addictive personality? Which is always great to be around, people who are conscious souls, because I generally don't believe I have an addictive personality, although I do need to be mindful of addiction because I get pulled into other people's energies. And this is not to blame anybody else at all, because it's about knowing ourselves. So when you spend a month, 2 months, 3 months on your own or away from things, and you don't touch substances, or you don't interact in ways that you do when you're around certain people, you can see where your default behavioural patterning is. And again, this is coming from a non-judgmental, non-purist point of view. Like, I do certain things, if we believe our body is an altar, certain ancestors might call for certain things, and you know, that's why some people do continue a relationship with alcohol, whatever, and I'm not here to judge. I just know my lineage, my ancestry, what I need to be mindful of. But with the addictive personality thing, I think really back in the day, we were learning to be not codependent as one of my biggest hurdles to overcome, or realizations that was something in me that had so much love to give, and that rarely came back to me in the way that I love. And so I think everything after that, when you don't feel seen and you don't feel loved, you don't feel heard in the language that speaks to our soul, it's a lonely existence. And I mean, loneliness is a state of mind, and my mind's very powerful and very joyful and happy. But I think a lot of us on this solitary path, and we can move in and out of community. I'm not saying we need to just be on a solo path forever, because that's not what I am co-creating or desire. But I do think that it's only from spending time by ourselves, really looking at our behaviours over the years, like what we've created and what we've manifested for ourselves, because we can't blame anybody else. Like, I'm not saying that, you know, if someone comes and punches you in the face, that we're responsible for that, because there's a lot of demons out there. There's a lot of energies that are manipulating human vessels that we're not taught it. It's not spoken about, and I don't mean the superstitious things. I just mean things that we can see. Vessels are hijacked by spirits. And this is why spiritual health, spiritual cleansing, and a knowing of like our connection to soul, our soul, is really important, so that we do not create or continue to exist in relationships where people enable us. You know, if someone's got a drinking problem and they've got a connection to someone that owns a bar, and you know, someone gives them free drinks all the time, like there's all level of codependencies that pull clearing souls back into karmic destructive patterns, because karma is just the word for energy. It doesn't mean negative, it's just like lessons. But once we connect with our north node and have done a lot of the healing, and where our dharma starts to manifest, i.e. everything that you put out, every thought, every intention, every act, comes back. Nothing is ever lost, all is returned on the wheel of time. And there's some weird things moving through the city and the skies at the minute. I can feel it. So that's why there's new energies and new things that I'm connecting with. I'm not scared of my emotion. People might say it's a crybaby or not. For me, again, I just realise, feel it, release, let it go, whether it's mine or not. I just feel a lot of love in my heart. I feel the pain of other people who are struggling. To find themselves in all of the shit that they believe will help them, or that they believe they need to aspire to, you know. And this is come again, not judging. I can just see things that maybe some people can't, and other people will see. We've all got our own gifts, which is why teamwork is just why coming together is community is so powerful, because we've all got our role and purpose to connect with. And this is why competition, bitterness and envy is just redundant. But until we desire to see ourselves truly no one ever sees us as we are. You know, our friends, family, you know, we are the only ones that know ourselves, that are with ourselves 24/7. Well, time's irrelevant not right now because it's going backwards, it's doing loops, it's doing a lot of randomness, but nobody knows us by ourselves, and we are born with the capabilities to get ourselves out of every situation. Like what our ancestors have come through and what we have been prepared for over millennia in ourselves, in our legacy, in our ancestry, sorry, and what we are preparing the legacy for. We're amazing. We're so much more powerful than we are taught, which we know. I'm not going to go down in that route, but this started off as when we start to identify our behaviours and realise that, you know, we don't help anybody by enabling them. Discipline is important, not rigidity and obsession. Discipline. Delayed gratification, 1111 on the clock, is essential. Nothing comes right here, right now, and that is what is so distorted about the West, is that quick gratification, everything hit now. The rains are coming. And that is not how this universe, the life works. If we desire to connect with our soul, nature is the first port of call. Observing nature helps us know how we move through time, seasons, the hierarchy in the animal kingdom, the jungle, the trees, leaves falling, seeds, saving seeds. Short-term fixes end up fucking us up and putting us on very different paths to what we may have been destined for, whether people believe in destiny or not, or fate, and people trying to push us sort of like nothing that is meant for us ever passes us by. The ways things might be delayed, or the ways in which we move might shift and change according to self-perpetuating negative self-deprecating talking down about ourselves, about other people around us. And I don't mean when you're in company, sometimes you share things about the people you love because that's what you do, is you share, especially when you're on your own. Like, you've got to speak as you speak, but it's not gossiping. Like, we've got to, all of us, share and tell stories about the people in our lives as a way of learning through relationships, different power dynamics, identifying them, talking about them as well. Someone can give you an insight into, and I don't mean share all your stuff. Certain relationships are sacred and private. We don't need the opinion of everybody, especially, you know, don't tell your parents everything, and don't tell your friends everything, especially if you're on a specific manifestation path. You've got to keep your mouth stum. You've got to just be a warrior, and you've got to just shut up about things, because it does not help the more you chat. And people might think that I share and chat shit on these videos and stuff. I share and share, but I've got someone very, very powerful leading me through, and I never ever overshare or say things that I'm not allowed to say, because I've been there, done that, and I got fucked up for it. And I can only say that's only my own fault, but I didn't know that back in the day. I didn't know energy. I didn't know how many people use me. I didn't know, and it's not victim mentality. Like, I went into those situations with open eyes at that level of consciousness back then. Had I had the level of consciousness that I do, I know my mum don't like that word. However, there's a channel of mine who has done some things in his life before he passed on, and he is a very fierce protector of mine. And so when certain things come out, his energy has literally been talked about and shared with me from friends all week. Really bizarre connections. because people still don't believe that I'm a medium or I connect with various known souls in our lived history. But you know, I can't make this stuff up. What's the point? Why would I be lying? It's a much more simple, calm life to not be on a video chatting about stuff and talking about who you might be channeling who's passed on. So we live, we learn, we come back to peace and love and compassion as the language, the continuum. Doesn't mean we can't feel anger and, you know, emotions, as I so demonstrated just now. Because as an empath, you realise there's a level of, you've got to keep your boundaries up. There's a new, like, as the sensitivities grow, as the psychic intuition grows among us, darkness gets attracted to light. So we've got to be much more ruthless with who we spend time with, how we spend our time. And we can see things before they arrive in our auric field. And then my lot, i.e. Reggie, one of my channels, one of my protectors, just boot them out. People have to deal with their stuff on their own. I'm not saying we can't all support each other, but handouts and continual handouts and expectations and enabling, it doesn't help anyone. Gosh, so much I could say now, but that might get me into trouble. So I won't. And I don't know if I'm going to put this out, but I guess this must be a reason why. I'm chatting 1717, 88. So it's time we all really carve out the lives and the energies, that carve out how we desire to live. We're still operating in a mentality that we were in 10 years ago, you know, about town, like trying to play people, trying to get what you want by using sex or blah, 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 or like still talking about women in a certain way, or like you're only bringing that energy towards you. If you desire a divine feminine or divine masculine who honours you in where you're at in your journey, and an independent, like I was going to say interdependent, but I mean someone who is a vibrational match, we have to start speaking that into existence. We have to start speaking in language also that people might be offended by and think, well, she keep talking about what. It doesn't matter. If people know what manifestation is about, if people know the rules, if we know the universal law, like if we know universal law, who cares what we appear like to other people when we're doing what we need to do on our path to bring forth what has been promised to us, because we know and we've heard it, we've seen it. Which doesn't always make for happy people around us, but at the end of the day, we're not meant to have hundreds of thousands or big groups of friends. We're meant to be part of a community. It doesn't mean you necessarily like everyone in that community, but you see people's intention and their role in that community, and also as a divine mirror. And you know, anyone that's wronged me, or whatever you say, I don't even know if we can say right or wrong, anyone that's crossed my path and acted with malintent and tried to play me or use my kindness as a weakness back in the day. Some people try and attempt it now, but it's a very different story. The hawk literally just flew literally a metre away from me. So that's a nice little ancestral confirmation. But before I get on 50 different thousand tangents, because I can feel so much there, it's like those that have come towards me with malintent in the past, see me through their own wounded gaze, as I would have seen them through my wounded gaze, because as we manifest people, and I'm healing till the day we die, but over certain shit. Now we can manifest other warriors who have also healed certain shit and aren't seeking someone to be a comfort blanket all the time. It's lovely to have reassurance, and I believe we need that, and everybody's got their own love language, and some people might need words of affirmation, some people might need affection, tenderness, some people might need gifts and all that stuff. I don't really do gifts, but anyway, honesty, integrity shows when you've done the work and you meet people who are vibrational match. But it's not like if all my enemies across the realms, well, if we were all on a desert island and there was food, and I was leading on food rations because we're on an island and we've got to survive all together. It's not that I'm going to prioritise anybody over anyone else of giving out the food. It's not like I'm going to give the enemies less food than myself. No, my conscience cannot work like that. I might think you're a twat and never want to speak to you again, but I can't be horrible. I can't be horrible to people. I'm not saying I can't talk firmly and put my point across and cut off communication when someone's disrespecting me and thinking that they've got the right to speak to me in a certain way and tell me who I am. No. But when someone is healed, when someone's in a healthy mindset, you're unable to be horrible. One of my channels, he did some really bad things when he was alive. 2 on the clock, It's going to be weird for people that I start sharing it, but his energy is coming up, and I only give thanks to him because he's looked after me, and I don't ever want to hurt anybody who's been hurt by him and his family. But hurt people, and the system, the justice system, and the world in the West, and the ways that things have been created is not in the benefit of the people. Pits people off against each other. People are free to wound and hurt each other, and it's not okay. Which is why we're going to see everything move in the way that it does and will, and unravel and unfold, because the ancestors have had enough. I've just had enough. And when everything happens all at the same time, someone dies, you lose your job, you can have a massive out of body experience, like your soul is thrown at 5,000 feet away from your physical body, and you're in this vortex of human concepts and different realities. And I'm not talking about having done sinners, I'm talking about just after experiencing a series of unfortunate events, or many people go through tragedy and various things. Energies around us can manipulate how we move. Spirits can take over the vessel, and people don't realise that. But if you're overeating, there's a spirit. There's hungry spirits around you that either you're not honouring your ancestors, you're not honouring yourself. There's no self-respect. Like if you're gorging on food all day, every day, there's something that's not okay. There's a comfort. We're not meant to be eating in the ways that Babylon is putting out. Instagram, food all the time. Like that is a luxury beyond luxury. It's obsession. It's bananas. It's bonkers. It's completely like. And I'm not saying that don't preserve food sovereignty, don't preserve traditional methods of agriculture, don't preserve traditional food items, and food brings people together, cooking, beautiful, but to the point that where it's at now is, I don't know, is anybody else watching this stuff? It's like, it's a bit crazy. maybe I should use a different word, because everyone's crazy, and we're, you know, to live in this human world is crazy. But I don't know, I think what's coming is going to humble a lot of people. And a lot of people need to be humbled. And I don't wish harm on anybody, I'm not saying that. But for our own mental health, if we don't sort our shit out, we're going to get wiped away in the energies that are coming. We're not going to do our own legacy, our own selves, family, any friends, self-fam, whatever, connections, human connections. We're not going to do them any good. We're just creating more toxic patterns to leave on the planet. And Gaia is about, she's ready to blow, mate. She's ready to just revelation times, end times. How that pans out, I've got no clue. I've had a few visions, chatted to a few people in the physical and the non-physical, but let's try to harness positive, kind, modest, humble, the Hawk's back, relationships, and not give up on ourselves. Don't give up on the true meaning of living. Do whatever we need to do to get ourselves out of situations that we have created for ourselves. Nobody else has put us in a situation where you've got 3 cars and a big house and you can't afford it, so you put yourself in debt. No. You've got to start getting back to the true essence of life. Again, nature is absolutely incredibly unreal. It doesn't go around saying, oh, look at how beautiful I am. Look at this amazing canyon that I've just built. Look at this volcano that is erupting with all this magma and spewing. And look at these beautiful jacaranda trees. No. It just sits, it does its thing. The bird might shit through the leaves, onto the ground, the mycelium, the mycota. Use that to re-put into the system, and it's just this 360 wheel of humble humility, power, patience, silence, presence. And anyway, I think I've had enough words for now, so I don't know if I'm going to put this out, but this is my truth, isn't it?